The October window is in the books. The United States ended unbeaten. A tie against Ecuador, a victory against Australia. Not bad business. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk to you tonight because we saw the US 11, obviously missing a lot of players. This felt almost like a bit of a missed opportunity. Obviously, everything in this October, November window, early 2026, all matters and you'll get something out of it. But when I saw things come out after the Ecuador game and with the limited players that we might be having, it's been, an injury list piling up. I thought this would be kind of uneventful. It wasn't. It wasn't. And we will talk about it here on the Soccer OG. Like the video, subscribe to the Soccer OG. We're going to be doubling up our efforts. I know I've been a little bit quiet lately. A little bit quiet. I got to keep it going because this is the most exciting time for our sport. So we will get after it. Let's get right into it here. This was the starting 11 for the United States. A few guys, obviously no Jedi Robinson going to be there. Malik Tillman moves away. Christian Pulisic goes into the starting 11 after he wasn't 100% for the opener. And we'll talk about him here because it's a big story. And the engine room, Christian Roldan, who I will talk about as well. I want to clear the air about him. James Sands gets an opportunity. Mark McKenzie comes into that back three. So there's a lot of players. Haji Wright, without question, with a chance to impress here. So, okay, definitely some meat on the bone in the 11. Now, I want to talk about what was achieved here. I didn't think the U.S. played all that great against Australia. Australia reminds me a lot about how the United States used to be, just a physical, athletic, cardio-heavy roster, playing above their weight, very well organized, all the cliches. I don't want to get too carried away. But they are also very physical as well, as I think I said that already. But it's a team that is playing very well. And Luke Wildman of Turner announced it on there. He says, of all the Australian sports, Australia, which has got a rich sports history, are more confident about this team going to the World Cup than anyone before. And this includes the 2006 team that were this close to making a quarterfinal against eventual winners Italy with the Harry Kewells and the Tim Cahills and all that, superstar team. They don't have superstars like that. This is a team with just an amazing spirit. I envy them in many ways. They're comfortable in their own skin, and they don't deviate to the way they want to play. And they usually get their way around. And coming into this game, 7 straight wins, 12-game unbeaten streak, and a lot of those games happening in World Cup qualifiers, which they done and dusted in a very competitive Asian federation. The Asian Federation is the most improved federation on the planet, large in due part because of what's happening in the Middle East, with the money coming in for Saudi Arabia, who just qualified. I mean, Saudi Arabia qualified like 6th or 7th in Asia. And obviously, the rest, the UAE and Qatar and all of that, and we see what Korea and Japan are doing on the world stage, and Australia, who moved over to Asia, 10 years ago? Asia has improved more than any other federation, so they're going to have a very fruitful World Cup, Uzbekistan, etc. So they did this in World Cup qualifying, and the United States ended that streak. So even though I thought the U.S. left a lot of goals in the game against Ecuador and the game here, Flo Balogun, who was exceptional against Ecuador, but has to be more clinical. He should have had a hat trick in that game. Should have had a hat trick. This game against Australia, they come from behind and win it, but there were 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances. Diego Luna should have had a brace, and there should have been at least that 3rd goal to put it out of reach. Instead, we're hanging around. In games that matter, when the cards are on the table, you've got to take those chances. And I think there was at least 5 or 6 really good chances the U.S. should have converted. So if you do half of those, you're in really good position. U.S. has to be better at that. I don't want to dampen the enthusiasm. They got a really nice win. Think of Australia. Their win streak is over. Their unbeaten streak is over. Like, all right. The little bit of the shine comes off against a less than stellar U.S. team missing a lot of key players. I also want to say this because as I wrapped up watching the USA game, I'm watching the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers and seeing El Salvador, Guatemala on an awful field, grinding it out. And I'm looking at Panama, who beat the United States earlier this year on the U.S.'s level, and they are just grinding to get through this qualification process when you thought they would ease on in a group of Suriname, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Curaçao's doing well. It's just going upside down in CONCACAF qualifying. And I know a lot of us say we miss that. Do we? Do we miss it? I understand that we do, but I've taken a deep breath. I know, are we going to be as well prepared for the World Cup, not having qualifying? We'll find out soon enough, and maybe I'll eat my words. But that looks like a grind the U.S. can avoid, especially now when we're playing games against Korea, Japan, Ecuador, Australia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Portugal. You know, it's maybe we get back to World Cup qualifying, which we will for 2030. But I'm not. I think what we're doing now against this level of competition is going to benefit us. It's going to benefit us. Now, for the U.S. team overall, do I feel better about where they are? Yes, certainly more than in September, and a lot more than I did in the summer, and a lot more than any point in 2025. Am I overwhelming feeling that the U.S. are going to exceed any expectation? Not there yet. Too many question marks, including that missing of goal opportunities. But Mauricio Pochettino's plan is solidifying here, which is great news. He promised this. We were all up in arms in September. As he said, we're still vetting out this roster, and I still think they're doing that. And I think he has no real choice at that because the amount of players that are missing action. So, I don't know. And the other thing I don't feel super great about is the injuries. I want to talk about Christian Pulisic. He was playing all right. He gets to start this game. Obviously, much maligned because of taking the break from the U.S. team in summer. And then this really Bush League tackle from the Australian midfielder, whose name escapes me. And he goes down, and I think it's all precautionary. He says he felt something in the hamstring. And then Christian Pulisic leaving the field, which is an image we've seen so many times. And it kills me. He is our best player, and we need him if we want to make a quarterfinal, which is the ultimate target. I don't think it goes beyond that. If we want to make a round of 16, we need him. So it makes me wonder, because he is going to be having a demanding schedule with the U.S. and Milan. And he although it's gotten better, he has a lengthy injury record. But I think it would be naive to think that the World Cup will roll around and all our players will be healthy because Pulisic's hurt. Malik Tillman's got a knock. Jedi Robinson. I mean, we haven't seen Jedi Robinson all year. What do you think is going to all click into view for the summer of 2026? I mean, Johnny Cardoso's not playing. There's been injuries there as well. Tyler Adams was expecting his daughter, but he has had a rich history of injuries as well. To think everyone's going to be healthy is folly. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I want to jump off from the Christian Pulisic point. And this was a really great moment. I mean, it was a beneficial moment, an unexpected beneficial moment. He leaves the field, and I was thinking the U.S. are going to be down. They're down a goal. It's looking bleak. Diego Luna comes on, and then things just start to click. They score the equalizer. They get the game winner a little bit later. And the U.S. from the when Pulisic left in the 31st minute were the much better team. And I'm not saying Diego Luna did all that, but his introduction and just stirring it up, and I think seeing their fallen leader leave lifted this team, which was great optics. Awesome. So the injury issues and everything else, look, this was really good. What we saw, beating Australia is no minor detail. Australia put Argentina almost to the sword in 2022. It's been really good for them. So, and I also wanted to say this. We saw some good signs of it. Australia played a very physical play, including the Pulisic injury. And I want a U.S. player to come in and go, bang, take that, do it here. And it happened a couple more times where the Australians played a physical nature. The referees let the play go on, and then it didn't. And then eventually it got evened out a bit. We saw a reaction. Chris Richards, I think, who was the leader, with Tim Ream out. And this wasn't a great game for Chris Richards, but it was an important game for him because he was the guy in the back with no Tim Ream. I think we have to have the exit strategy from Ream between now and the World Cup. I don't think he should be starting here. So we're seeing different looks. I don't know what fits best. Mark McKenzie came in, played well. Miles Robinson's been okay, nothing fantastic. We have other options, but where are they? And if they don't come up, it's going to be Tim Ream. But I'd like to see Richards, maybe Alex Freeman, who's a fullback, maybe he comes in that center back role, which I don't mind at all. Maybe Jedi Robinson comes in as a back three and allows a guy like Max Arfson. to be a full-out winger. So I want Richards to be that leader, and he was expressive in that moment. And I will say, Christian Roldan is the one guy who's going at these Australian players like he's going to pick a fight. I want to see that from all the American players. If they knock down your leader, if they take a cheap shot, you go back at them. This is a requirement for my national team. And if they don't have that, they're not going to do well. And I don't care if you have to take a card, yellow or worse, to send a message. So that brings me to Christian Roldan. And I want to be pretty fair here because I know there's a backlash and everyone rolls their eyes. He is the poster boy for U.S. men's national team dissatisfaction on social media. And the question is, he's had too many chances. And he has. Has he had more chances than Tanner Tessman and James Sands, Johnny Cardoso, and Aiden Mars? Without question. And has he had some stinkers with those chances? Sure. I would say he probably shouldn't have made the 2022 World Cup roster. He did it because the young midfielders weren't quite ready. So you brought him in there to have a veteran player, which I think a lot of people are thinking is going to happen in 2026. And by the way, he is making the 2026 roster. I think you have to start wondering if he's going to play significant minutes, which is a possibility. He wasn't really great in 2023. I wasn't asking for Christian Roldan to come in on 2024. But this year I said, yes, Christian Roldan is having his best year as a professional. Sometimes you have that when you're 22. Sometimes it happens when you're 25. Sometimes it happens when you're 30. It's happening for Christian Roldan. I watch and I cover MLS extensively. I do a lot of Sounders games at the Club World Cup, in the Leagues Cup, playing against really good opponents. He excelled. He is having his best year. So I would say Christian Roldan shouldn't have been on the national team in 2022 or 2023 or 2024. I wanted to see him in 2025. And what I have seen for the club is manifesting itself on the national team. He's that guy. He had 2 assists here. Could have had a goal or 2. Should have, can you imagine? Foot Mob, which we had him at like an 8.8 rating. And he's been the best midfielder in October, better than Tessman, Mars, or Sands. Sands is probably out of the picture. Aiden Mars hanging over the precipice. If I had to talk about the starting midfield right now in that engine room, I would probably say on form, it's going to be Tyler Adams and maybe Tessman a little bit ahead. But I think Christian Roldan, with the amount of games, suggests that he might get in there. Johnny Cardoso is a wild card. Maybe they move Weston McKennie back, but nothing we have seen here suggests that's going to happen. And I'll wrap things up with McKennie here quickly. Christian Roldan, again, having his best year. That's why I wanted him here. And it's manifesting itself as I thought it would. Heady play, leadership, but just smart. And 2 really top quality assists. 2 Haji Wright, who probably got himself on the team as well for 2026. 2 very well taken goals, but it was this symmetry with Christian Roldan that allowed that to happen. Flo Balogun is the number 1, but I'll tell you what, Haji Wright took his chances better than Flo Balogun did. Balogun, we had to worry about it. He finally got that tap in. Haji Wright was clinical. That Ricardo Pepe's time is running short to get on this roster. Josh Sargent, it's over. And the fact Patrick Agyemang was on this roster but didn't get in suggests he's on the outside looking in. Haji Wright is in on that U.S. men's national team World Cup roster. Weston McKennie, this is a big one. And this is a guy who showed up in October in shape. So many times in the past, he comes here, he disappears, goes plays golf, sees his family, puts on 10 pounds. He loves American food. He likes the bad American food, and he goes out. Someone got in his head. He looked fit, svelte, playing up in field. We need this to repeat itself. So hopefully the message has been received from Weston McKennie, and he keeps going in this direction. That was a very good development. 3 or 4 really good developments. U.S., we'll see what they can do when they play Paraguay and Uruguay in November. And hopefully we're healthy. And hopefully we're not going to get pushed around. But it was good. Good result. Sending the Aussies back. Streak is over. The Soccer OG. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with so much more. I hope you appreciate the content. I love chatting with you guys. Talk soon.